FCS college football from Baltimore, Maryland. Fall colors are setting in on this final Saturday in October. Earl Banks Field at U Stadium, a Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference matchup. Today between the Florida A&M Rattlers and the Morgan State Bears. It's the Sports Fever Television Network College Football Game of the Week. Hi, everybody. Great to see you this week. I'm Phil Shannon alongside my partner, the czar of the playbook, Emory Hunt. And for FAMU, their sophomore quarterback, Ryan Staley, he has a lot of people to throw the football to. Also, Stanley has 14 touchdowns.
I love what he brings to the table as far as this offense is concerned. He can really spread it around. He has some tremendous talent to get the football to.
On the defensive side for Morgan, no one's playing better in the MEAC than Rico Kennedy. 12 tackles for a loss, leading the conference.
That means he sets up shop on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. He also has 44 tackles, 4.5 sacks. They're going to need him to be big on both ends of defense.
Two pretty similar teams. It should be an entertaining game. It's the Rattlers and the Bears. MEAC football on the Sports Fever Television Network, and kickoff is coming up next.
Today's game on STN is brought to you by Morgan State University.
This is Wayne Randall.
Morgan State fell to 1-6 with a 39-14 loss last weekend against Howard. Florida A&M outlasted Hampton and lost 31-27 last Saturday, dropped to 2-6 overall and 1-4 in the conference. The Rattlers with their second trip up to the northern part of our country. There's a good look at the Rattlers. And Morgan State last week had 502 yards of total offense, but they struggled in the red zone, Emory, and Howard's Kalen Newton had 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing and 2 passing.
Penalties, turnovers will lose you ball games. They can avoid both today. They have a great chance. And looking at Florida A&M and those uniforms, man, the Rattlers and those orange helmets, gotta like that look, man.
Bringing that orange look, the orange helmets here to Baltimore, Maryland for this MEAC game. Both teams desperate need of a win. Of course, the last home game for Morgan State, their only win of the season 2 weeks ago against Savannah State, where their offense was on fire. And Alex Wood, the head coach of FAMU, going to look at him in a bit. From Iowa, 1979 grad. That's not Coach Woods there, but we'll get him on your screen in a little bit. 7-23 in his third season at FAMU. He was also a head coach at James Madison, head coach at Buffalo as well. About to get underway. Morgan State will have the football to start this game. Again, last home game for them here at Hughes Stadium, their big win against Savannah State when their offense was on fire that homecoming Saturday. Touchback, so Morgan State will start. We'll take a look at Morgan State starters. Elijah Staley, the quarterback, trying to get things going. Who else do you like in this starting offense, Emory?
We talked about him the last time we were on a broadcast together. Eric Harrell, the outstanding tailback. They're going to have to run the football today. And
Bailey, the leading wide receiver, the sophomore, had that big breakout game 2 weeks ago against Savannah State. And then the trench mob, that offensive line. They're all healthy again. Back after being injured after the Towson game. The couple of guys in and out of the lineup, but they've been together the last couple of weeks, have been really big for Morgan State, able to establish the run game again, because the first 5 games of this season they weren't able to run the football. Eric Harrell will get the first carry and doesn't get much there, loses 2 yards on that first down run. Florida A&M's defense, they have some attackers. Richardson's tough at the defensive tackle. Who else do you like on this Florida A&M defense?
Big fan of Elijah Price and what he can do getting off blocks. I love to see him get off blocks more in this ball game and stop the run. Also keep an eye on Jules Dorneval, another outstanding cornerback in that Rattlers secondary, along with Terry Jefferson.
The Rattlers second in the MEAC defending the pass. And there's the pass attempt for Staley. Incomplete down at the 35-yard line, looking for David. David, the big 6'3", 205-pound junior. And there's the trench mob that we talked about. Cooper Clark in the center was injured. He's back, and a lot of good players on this offensive line. And again, as you know, Coach Ferrier said, these guys finally back together. They've played together for the last 2 weeks, so that's important for Coach Fred T. Ferrier.
Continuity is king along the offensive line.
So now a third down coming up, 3rd and 12. Staley will throw the football. Going downfield, looking for Baldwin, and incomplete. Overthrew Baldwin, and a 4th down in a punting situation coming up for the Bears.
And you see where their drop pass on 2nd down really derailed this offense, because that would have been a first. And you saw a great offensive line play picking up the blitz, and Staley was back there in the pocket just waiting for someone to clear, and he had to put it where his offensive player was the only one that could reach that football, had to throw it high and outside. But the receivers have to start to help out the quarterback a lot more this season for Morgan's offense to really take flight.
Chris Clack Jr. will punt for Morgan State. Smith is back to receive the punt for the Rattlers. Ball takes a bounce, and they fall on it at the 44-yard line. Morgan State saying that Florida A&M might have touched that football, and that's the case. So a FAMU player touched the ball, and on the spot for the Bears, the big turnover for Morgan State.
Yeah, good job right there by Eric Elvis Jr. The redshirt senior on that football. That's a heads-up play on the special teams, and it looked as if it bounced off number 80, and he tried to jump right back on it, but Elvis was able to jump right on that football, and now you set up Morgan State's offense in a good position.
Hit Williams for FAMU and Morgan State. They've been on the other side of the turnover war. They've given up 24 turnovers this year and only returned 11. So there's their 12th turnover of the season. It could turn into some points here early on. Let's see if they can convert. Good field position to start their second offensive drive after the fumble. Isaac Staley, heavy pressure, throws the football away. Looked like he was going to be tackled for a sack on the 50-yard line. And let's go down to our third member of our broadcast team, Danielle Podlaski, down on the sidelines. Danielle.
Thanks, Phil. Both of these teams are looking to get their second conference victory of the season. For Florida A&M to get that win today, they need to eliminate the penalties. During last Saturday's loss to Hampton, the Rattlers were flagged 15 times for 142 yards. Of those 15 penalties, 13 occurred in the second half. For Morgan State, they also need to pump the brakes on the penalties. Last game against Howard, the Bears were called for 10 penalties for 132 yards. Aside from all the flags, it is crucial for the Bears to start converting in the red zone. Last Saturday, the Bears managed just 2 touchdowns despite driving into the red zone 6 times. So for this season, Morgan State has scored on just 28% of their red zone trips and have lost possession 9 times in the red zone. Phil?
Thank you very much, Danielle. Eric Carell with a run there, and a third down coming up now for Morgan State, trying to take advantage of that turnover by FAMU on the punt where it was touched by a Rattler player. Third down for the Bears. Staley, 6'7" in that gun, fires and has the completion, and a Morgan State first down. White with the reception, and White has been doing an outstanding job. Really had a big game last week, doing a lot of things and taking a better role in this offense for the Bears.
Yeah, good job by Deontay White, reaching out and extending with his hands to pull in that football, and that's what you want to see your receivers do in that situation. It's a third down situation, tight coverage, tight window throw. Good job by White making the catch.
So a first down for the Bears. Eric Carell runs for 11 yards and very close to another Morgan State first down. And there Eric Carell getting this offense going, and they have the two-headed monster. We'll see Eric Carell for a little while, and then we'll see Herb Walker Jr. But there's a penalty marker down and a holding penalty on Morgan State.
Yeah, you saw the hold on the outside by the receiver on that corner. And normally when you have a long run, the receivers are doing their job down the field. That was too good of a job by the receiver. But Danielle brought up something interesting, the penalties that happened for FAMU in that second half, which was huge because you're playing a team in Hampton that's undefeated in conference, and you have that mental breakdown in the second half. That's the biggest reason why FAMU wasn't able to win that ball game.
And they did have a chance to win that game last week. Came down to a big fourth down and couldn't convert. Staley will keep it himself. Falls ahead for a couple of yards.
Rush that time by the quarterback.
And penalties such an issue, as Danielle talked about, and really they were an issue last week and the last 2 weeks. Remember in the first game for Morgan State against Towson, they had a ton of penalties. Then they got better each week. But the last 2 weeks, penalties have been a problem. They had 15 penalties for 138 yards in the win over Savannah State. And last week, 10 penalties for 137 yards, as Danielle mentioned, against Howard. So they need to cut down on those penalties. The pass from Staley to White, complete and out of bounds.
Now, penalties are never good, but it's when they come. is where you have an issue. If they come inside the red zone, that's killer. If they come when you're driving down the field and you make a turnover or a crucial penalty that backs up your offense significantly, that's where you have a problem.
Third down and 9.
That pass was to David. David's 16th catch of the season. Big tight end, 6'3", 205. Third down coming up now for the Bears. From the Rattlers' 28-yard line. Staley from the gun, fires across the field, incomplete, trying to hit that quick slant route, and just threw it over his receiver's head, looking for Brian Gentry.
Looks like they're going to go for it, and now they send out the special teams unit, but you saw in that throw, the pressure didn't get there to Staley, but it affected the pass, which is why that ball came out high. He's a left-handed thrower, throwing to his left, and that's where the pressure came, so he had to release that pass a little awkwardly, and it went away from the receiver.
Staley 2 for 6 so far on this drive. Alex Rea will attempt the field goal. 45-yarder. Morgan State has struggled kicking the football. Let's see what Rea could do with the 45-yard kick. The kick is up, and Rea's kick hits the pylon, and no good. So Morgan State unable to cash in with their opportunity. 11-17 remaining in the first quarter. No score on the Sports Fever Television Network. Morgan State unable to cash in with a 45-yard field goal miss by Alex Rea. Their 7-play, 16-yard drive after FAMU had problems with the punt. Morgan State recovered it, so FAMU first time on offense. The pass by Stanley completed, and a first down on the far side. Let's take a look at FAMU starters. A lot of great wide receiver talent, a lot of speed on this wide receiver unit, and Bowers is a pretty good running back.
He really is. He does a good job getting in and out of traffic like a New York City cab, and you like what you have up front. This offensive line, I thought, took control of that Texas Southern defense in the first game, which is why they won that ball game. They need to get back to dominance in this one.
Hunter with the grab for a 13-yard pickup and a first down for the Rattlers in the first offensive play. Here's a look at Bowers, who runs forward, picks up 4 yards, and Morgan State's defense really been playing well. Franklin's been tough. Also, Washington the last couple of weeks is on fire. And I know you like the linebackers, Emory.
Rico Kennedy, man, always around the football. Ian McBurrow had a big game against Savannah State. Looking for him to have another output like that today against FAMU. And Carl Garnes is one of the more colorful guys in college football that you're going to find.
At their 44-yard line.
So second down, 7 coming up for FAMU. Their first opportunity on offense. No score here. MEAC football. Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. Stanley's throw gets the completion close to midfield. And the quick hitter there to Williams, grabbing with the catch.
I thought Morgan State jumped early. He was Junior Seau-esque offsides on that particular play, and it didn't affect the pass, and good job by Stanley getting the ball in there, but I thought they were offside initially. He got a really good jump over on the snap.
3rd and 2 coming up. FAMU 35% this year on third downs. 3rd and 2. Handoff. Running room and a first down by Spills. Spills 5'10", 200 pounds, played at Atlantic High School in Florida. So much talent on this FAMU squad from Florida. Boy, they do an outstanding job recruiting the Sunshine State.
You got to love that one-back power, man. You just bring that guard around and lead him into the hole, and you just run behind your pads, run behind your big lineman. You're going to pick up the first.
So now the Rattlers working in Bears territory. With a 1st and 10. Stanley, the sophomore, fires sideline. Ball intercepted at the 30-yard line. Morgan State comes up with their second turnover of this football game, and the interception by Terry Harris.
That's an excellent job by Terry Harris, because I was about to compliment Stanley for the anticipatory throw. The receiver got out of his break a little too slow, which allowed Harris to get back into the play and pick that ball off. That's a good job undercutting that route. Great hands, securing the catch, and getting the ball back again for Morgan State. So 2 turnovers by this Bears defense and special teams early in this ball game.
Morgan State now with 6 interceptions on the season, and now 13 turnovers, with 2 of them coming today. Terry Harris's first interception of the season for the senior from Oklahoma City. Morgan State, first play with a penalty marker down and a player down as well at the 35-yard line.
Personal foul.
Got the ball out to White.
Top block. Offense. Number 59, 75. 15-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Referee today, Jason Sotzman, with the call there. And again, more penalties adding up on this Morgan State Bears team. Danielle talked about that in her spot down on the field.
Yeah, penalties will get you beat, and this is one that hurts you because it's a chop block. It's 15 yards. Again, backed up offense is never a good thing. You don't have plays in your playbook to get you out of these situations, so you really get backtracked on what you want to call. This is why they call the running play here. Let's try to get something back, something going.
Herb Walker Jr. running the football and tackled out of bounds at the 20-yard line. And another penalty marker is down at the 17-yard line. Looks like it's going to be another penalty on the Bears.
Offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And you see a lot of guys just putting their hands up on that offensive line, and penalties starting to add up again this week for Morgan State.
Like we said, you can call holding every play. It's funny they catch these holding calls, but they missed that blatant offside call in the previous series. So now it's 1st and 25. 35, I'm sorry. There's really nothing you can do there. You saw the hold. You pull his jersey completely off.
So 3 penalties for Morgan State early on. The completion. Quick hitter out to Baldwin. Baldwin's 11th catch of the season for the freshman. Baldwin's a big target, 6'3", 200 pounds. Still a long way to go for a first down. Those penalties have backed them up big time. And now you're looking at a 2nd and 29 after the 5-yard pickup.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a screen here, some situation, some sort of thing to get their young, talented tailback, Herb Walker Jr. in space.
So Morgan State trying to take advantage of these 2 turnovers by FAMU, and their offense is sputtering with the penalties. Staley fires, and incomplete. That one was going to Poteet, was the intended receiver, but overthrew him.
And normally those guys have great communication. That looked like a miscommunication there where Staley expected him to settle down in between those 2 defenders, and Poteet kept running. He threw the zone route. Poteet ran the man route, and the ball went incomplete.
Poteet last week, 4 catches, 42 yards in that loss at Howard. 3rd down and a mile. They give it to Herb Walker Jr. Is going to try to run for a first down. Makes a nice cut and a good gain, but still had to go a long way to grab that first down, and Morgan State will be forced to punt the football back to the Rattlers.
That's tough. That's a tough possession right there for the Bears. That's a wasted possession where you had the turnover, you had good field position, but your own penalties backed you up to where you essentially didn't penalize FAMU for turning the ball over.
Smith back to return the punt for FAMU. FAMU here in the 6:50 of this first quarter with 2 turnovers. Smith calls for a fair catch and catches it in traffic at the 40-yard line. So let's see what FAMU can do offensively. No score early on in the first quarter in this MEAC Game of the Week on the Sports Fever Television Network. First and 10 for FAMU from Morgan State's 40-yard line. No score. FAMU with 2 early turnovers, but Morgan State at a 45-yard field goal attempt missed, and 3 penalties. Stanley being chased down, and he's brought down at the line of scrimmage. There's that Bears defense always getting after the quarterback. That's one thing that they have mastered this year, one of the top sacking teams in the MEAC.
And Malachi Washington beating that offensive tackle around the edge and closing that gap and really using that length, man. He's 6'2", 230, but he was like a 6'5" defensive end on that play, getting Stanley down.
Malachi Washington tied in the MEAC with 5 sacks, tied for 2nd in the MEAC in that department, 2nd and 11 after a loss of 1. We give to Bowers running right side, cross midfield, and a 12-yard pickup and a first down for Bowers in that explosive run for the 6', 180-pound junior.
What a great play call by Martin Spieler, the offensive coordinator of FAMU. He ran the right play into the blitz. That's the best way to defeat pressure, to run right at it. They had the right play call at the right time, and they picked up the first on the ground.
So it's 1st and 10.
So after that Bowers run, FAMU and Morgan State territory for their sophomore. Going to throw the football. Looks downfield and fires. Has the completion wide open and a Rattler touchdown. That was too easy and too wide open. Chad Hunter with his 6th touchdown catch of the season. Wow, what a wide open wide receiver in Chad Hunter. I would think that Ryan Stanley had to be surprised he was that wide open.
Yeah, this is a guy that made a move on that cornerback on a post route and found himself wide open. I spoke with his uncle before the game, and he was like, hey, keep an eye on my nephew, man. Chad Hunter, number 84, a redshirt freshman. And lo and behold, he paid big dividends on that touchdown.
3-play, 60-yard drive for the Rattlers. The point after is good. Chad Hunter, 48-yard touchdown for Ryan Stanley, and they leave it 7-0.
5:29 to go here in the first quarter.
Yard drive for FAMU. Ryan Stanley with his 12th touchdown pass of the season, 48-yarder to Chad Hunter. Hunter's 6th touchdown grab of the year. Hunter had a big week last week in the loss. He had 2 catches for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns last week in a game that a lot of these, it's been a heartbreak season for the Rattlers. Mastering that art of closing out opponents has been tough for them. And every loss after the Arkansas game, FAMU was in striking distance before the opposing teams were able to escape. The return by White. He's taken down at the 9-yard line. That's where Morgan State will have the ball back. A lot of the Rattler fans, the FAMU fans, were, we've been in a lot of football games. We should have more wins than what we have currently. And take a look at the hit that White takes on the sideline.
And we saw a lot of this from FAMU last year. They were in a lot of ball games and lost them late. So you're seeing the seeds of a young football team still learning how to win. But there's a ton of talent here for the Rattler faithful to be proud of. This is a good football team and will be a good football team next year.
Last year, the Rattlers won 4 of their final 7 games to finish tied for 4th in the MEAC at 4-4. They would like to try to do that again this year, but they certainly would have to win out to get that done. Here's the Bears trying to get it going offensively. Pass out to Herb Walker Jr. for a short 3-yard pickup.
These are some long developing plays that they have run for Herb Walker Jr. He's more of a power guy, not necessarily a shifty guy in space, but you want to get him going downhill. And that long developing pass route kind of puts him at a disadvantage. But at least it was a positive play on first down for this Bears offense.
2nd and 7 for the Bears. Staley fires to complete to Poteet. The far sideline out at the 20-yard line, and a first down for Morgan State. Exactly where he needed to get. Good route ran by Poteet.
When everything is good and clean for Staley in this passing game, it looks beautiful out there because he's rolling out to his left, little half roll, outbound Poteet on the sideline at the sticks and hit him right between the numbers.
Poteet's first catch of the day, 18th of the season. 1st and 10 for Morgan State. Fires in the completion at the 30-yard line to Bailey, the top receiver for Morgan State. Right at the sticks again, and another Morgan State first down.
Love the timing here with their passing game. It's coming out quick, accurate, and on point.
It seems like when they, as you mentioned, you hit it right on that. When Staley's got things going, he's really tough to beat.
Because he can get that football anywhere he wants to get it on the football field because of his arm strength.
Fred T. Ferrier, sidelines there. Previously a head coach at Kentucky State. He had 13 wins in his first 2 seasons there. Herb Walker Jr. running the football. Tough run, puts his head down and barrels forward across the 35-yard line.
This is what we talked about pregame. We were down on the field. We said, hey, yeah, he's a shorter guy, but he's yoked up. He's short, not small. So you better have your strength with you when you run up on and try to tap him. You see right here just meeting the defender head on. He's not afraid.
Penalty was thrown on FAMU.
After the penalty.
So after the penalty, 1st and 5 for Morgan State.
At the 35-yard line.
The 35-yard line. Bears down 7-0. 3:35 remaining in this first quarter. Good straight-ahead run for a Morgan State first down by Herb Walker Jr. I believe in this running game. They had only averaged of 64 yards running the football until that Savannah State game, but they put the running game in place the last 2 weeks.
This is what I'm talking about. Just run right downhill with a guy like Herb Walker Jr. That's where his strength lies. I think people underrate his ability to run with some power. Florida A&M just found out on that particular play what power he brings with them running the football.
2 carries, 17 yards for Herb Walker Jr. so far. Staley's pass complete out to the 45-yard line. Completed there to Baldwin with the catch. Baldwin's second catch of the day.
It's a good job right here. Again, rolling to his left a little bit, throwing the football on the money. And you love the timing and the pace that they're running with offensively on this series. This is their best series in quite some time because everything is coming out quick, efficient, and on point.
Second down for Morgan State. Herb Walker Jr. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Not much there. The Rattlers defense up to make the stop pretty quickly.
Herb Walker Jr.
One area where FAMU has had success this season defensively, we talked about their secondary. They're excellent back there, but I think their defensive line is very underrated, and partly because they go against that very good offensive line of theirs in practice every day. So this is a strength versus strength battle, which is why this one is going to be won in the trenches.
3rd and 4. Staley to throw. Herb Walker, that's Eric Harrell out of the backfield as the first down and more. Eric Harrell down into Rattlers territory, and the penalty marker comes down late as Eric Harrell gets the first down and a couple of extra yards, and we'll have to wait for the penalty. Eric Harrell dangerous out of the backfield, coming up and catching that pass from Staley.
The first down, after the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 86, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Morgan State called with a personal foul.
2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but you're going to see a great play here by Elijah Staley. Going to his right is very tough to do. He was able to square up and get an accurate throw to Harrell out there, and you're going to see the late unnecessary cleanup block come out after the play, which is why they called the penalty.
Those 15-yarders kill you. Morgan State 9th in the MEAC in penalties, averaging 92 yards a game in penalty yards. That's what they give up. Herb Walker Jr. out of bounds at the 40-yard line in Rattlers territory. What do you do, Emery, to control the penalties as a coach? What can you do? What can you tell your guys? Is there anything you can do in practice? Is there something you can do during the week to prepare you not to have these kind of mental mistakes on Saturday?
I mean, if I had the answer, I would bottle it up and sell it. But normally coaches try to make you understand how critical penalties are. So when you have them in practice, they make you run, maybe up downs, but it's tough to do that in the game. So you don't know why it continues to happen during games for Morgan State and also for Florida A&M. It's very frustrating as a coach because you can't get rid of that. That's something that you can't fix right away.
Staley had a hard time with the snap and then had to rush that football to Poteet for the incompletion. Dropped the football there and had to get it out quick and overthrew Poteet. So 3rd down coming up for Morgan State. The offense was rolling for Fred T. Ferrier, but when those penalties put the big red stop on your offense. Far sideline, and the catch made by Poteet, but Poteet had nowhere to run. Caught that football, and Staley let him right out of bounds. And a 4th down coming up at the 40-yard line.
That play would have been a better stop and pop play because there was really no one in the slot covering him, and he had an opportunity to make that guy miss and pick up the first down, but they ran that bubble screen, and like you said, he let him out of bounds, and now they have to punt.
Smith waiting to receive the punt. Very dangerous return man in the MEAC. Smith to return it. Here comes the punt. Takes a bounce at the 20-yard line, and everybody gets away from it. And it takes a Morgan roll, and FAMU will start on the 13-yard line. Up 7-0. 18 seconds remain before the end of the first quarter.
You spoke of the talent of Florida A&M and the talent of the state of Florida. It's just impressive to see up and down that roster.
18 seconds remaining in the first quarter. We'll be right back. This first quarter, Morgan State fans want to see their team get on the board, down 7-0. FAMU has only run 8 offensive plays so far in this first quarter. Quick hitter in the completion. Now to Chad Hunter, who has the touchdown catch.
Stanley's pass was complete to number 84.
It's a good job right there defending that play because it looked as if he had an opening. So Morgan State did a great job.
That's the end of the first quarter.
And that is the end of the first quarter. FAMU with a 7-0 lead over Morgan State. Come back for the second quarter of the Sports Fever Television Network College Football Game of the Week.
Today's game on STN is brought to you by Chesapeake Employers Insurance, Good Companies, McCormick & Company, and Henderson Webb.
Second quarter underway from Baltimore, Maryland. FAMU with a 7-0 lead over the Morgan State Bears. Second down for the Rattlers. Stanley to throw the football. Has the completion. They're very big at run after catch. Norwood with the catch, his 35th catch of the season. He leads the team in receptions.
And Norwood is their explosive playmaker, but you're going to see here on this replay just a great block by Chad Hunter. And this is why that play was able to spring for more yards. Good block, boom, getting that guy out the way and allowed Norwood to pick up more yards after that catch. So good teamwork right there by the Rattlers.
Goes for 16 yards, Stanley to Norwood, and a 1st and 10 for FAMU.
At their 33-yard line.
Bowers in the backfield gets the call. Patient. The hole doesn't open up. Able to sneak through for maybe a yard and a half.
Yeah, this is another strength versus strength battle. We talked about Morgan State's defensive line all season long. And FAMU's offensive line, I think, is very underrated, one of the better ones in the MEAC. So who's going to get moved off the spot will be the determining factor in the outcome of this ball game.
FAMU's offense averaging 327 yards a game, 133 on the ground, 194 through the air. Second down for the Rattlers. Here comes the pressure. Gets the football off, but I think that sophomore quarterback feel that there was a bear breathing down his back and got rid of that football awful hurry.
Yeah, that's well put right there because he won that battle instantly off the corner, and Stanley felt him and had to rush that throw. You're going to see right here just coming off, and boom, Malachi Washington, once again, he's really winning those battles one-on-one against that tackle.
Stanley's having a pretty good day, 5 of 6, 86 yards, and that 48-yard touchdown back in the first quarter for the 7-0 lead to Chad Hunter. Third down. 35% this year on third downs is FAMU. Stanley will get hit and brought down. That is Washington coming up to make the big play again, time and time again. Malachi Washington there to make a big stop.
We came into the broadcast expecting a lot of Rico Kennedy, but we're seeing a lot of Malachi Washington. Just a good job, just sort of just came out of nowhere and made that stop on Stanley. And that play, again, was opening up perfectly for Florida A&M, but good stop on Morgan State to get off the field here.
Number 43, Chris.
So White is back for Morgan State to receive this punt on a fourth down. Ball bounces at the 40-yard line. And the Rattlers touch it down there, and Morgan State will have the football back, trying to get things going here in the second quarter. Their big quarterback, Elijah Staley, 6'7", 245 pounds. We'll hear more on Elijah Staley. Down on the field from Danielle Podlosky, who had an opportunity to talk to big Elijah. Danielle?
Thanks, Phil. Redshirt junior quarterback Eli Staley has been a key player to the Bears team in his first season here. Eli started his college career at Mississippi State, where he played in just 2 games before transferring to Tyler Junior College in Texas for his sophomore season. Eli says the decision to come up north and become a Bear has not only allowed him to play more, but has given him the chance to truly enjoy playing again. So far this season, Eli ranks 3rd in the MEAC in passing yards with 1,348 and has racked up 4 touchdowns. Phil?
Thank you very much, Danielle. He had a touchdown pass in his limited time at Mississippi State. Had to be a thrill. Eric Harrell with a big carry for a Morgan State first down.
Man, that's a huge hole he ran through, Phil. I could probably get down there today and run through that hole. Not as powerful or as fast as him, but good job right there seeing the cutback lane and was really running downhill. Yes, in the dress shoes, Phil. You pointed at my shoes. Yes, I would be able to do that in dress shoes on turf.
Elijah Stanley goes straight ahead across midfield. You have a hard time getting down for the post-game photo op. I can't imagine you getting down there and running for. But Staley has a big. We don't see Staley run as much. He runs when he has to. gets key yards.
I think it's better when he does it. He looks so uncoordinated. Not to say he's uncoordinated, just running the football isn't his style.
Well, a lot of legs. I mean, he's
all legs.
6'7" with a lot of legs. Eric Harrell straight ahead, short of the first down. Good explosion by Harrell getting through that hole.
It's funny because you see Harrell and you see a guy in Herb Walker Jr., and you tend to think, okay, one is the more quick, shifty, one is the more powerful guy, but Harrell seems to be the more shiftier guy out of the two, and he's still running with power. So both guys are powerful backs, but I think Harrell is the more shiftier one.
4 carries, 20 yards for Eric Harrell. Harrell gets the call again, right side. Tries to fight his way for the first down on the third down run, and he did move the chains. Should be a first down for Morgan State.
Eric Harrell with the carry.
Eric Harrell got the yards he needed to move the chains. The Bears back in Rattlers territory.
Once again, their offense is found a rhythm, and we'll see if they can continue to stay out of their own way, so to speak, as far as penalties are concerned, and punch this thing into the end zone or come away with points.
They've run 26 plays now for 123 yards. Eric Harrell's 2-yard run gives them a first down. Morgan State down 7-0. Last week it was their troubles in the red zone. Staley will keep it himself. Running the football, does big legs, breaks 3, has some real estate in front of him, dives out for the pylon and has the touchdown. Wow, you said you didn't like his running style. He ran like a deer, but he went for 41 yards for the touchdown. Staley calls his own number and keeps it himself.
More like a giraffe, but he must have heard the broadcast and was able to shut me up and break that long run. That's a great job. And you saw them run the speed option to the weak side. And you see, okay, maybe they're going to play him and force him to quickly pitch it. They overplayed that situation. Staley saw it from a mile away and was able to outrun the defender to the end zone.
Goes 41 yards for the touchdown from Staley. The point after, Alex Rea. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Morgan State ties this football game. Staley keeps it himself, goes 41 yards. It's 7-7 on the Sports Fever Television Network.
Morgan State 7.
5-play, 63-yard drive. Takes up 2:20 off the clock. Morgan State ties the football game up. The 41-yard touchdown run by quarterback Elijah Staley.
You won't be able to shut up Staley the entire week. He's going to be coaching the running backs on how to break long runs. What an impressive run for him on that option play.
See what the Rattlers can do offensively. McKinley on the return. And that's where FAMU will start up offensively for their sophomore quarterback, Ryan Stanley. He stands at 6'3". 12 touchdown passes this season. Had a very efficient week last week. He was 13 of 19, Embry, for 220 and 3 touchdowns.
He can really throw the football, and it really balances out their offense, and that's why they're one of the tougher offenses to stop in the MEAC.
Give this time to Ray. Good first down run and a big first down carry and another first down for FAMU. Ray with a big carry and an interesting setup there. Ray's 26th carry of the season.
Yeah, Zende Ray getting outside, and that was just a powerful run by the redshirt freshman, 5'10", 185, running with some toughness.
First and 10.
Ray picked up 17 yards on that carry.
At their 43-yard line.
First and 10 from Morgan State's 43 for the Rattlers. They stay on the ground. But Ray gets the call again.
Ray with the carry that time.
Ray with a 4-yard pickup.
You know, head coach Alex Wood is loving this because he was a former Iowa running back and had a similar style as Ray right here. So he loves seeing these guys just tough it in there, pick up those tough yards, and move the sticks. And again, their offense is now operating with some balance.
Gain of 3 on the play. 2nd down and 7.
FAMU keeps it on the ground. And they know also that run game can set up their pass game. Henderless with the carry. Henderless had a big week. He went over 100 yards last week in the loss.
So it's third down for the Rattlers.
So third down coming up for FAMU from the 48-yard line in Morgan State territory. Tie game 7-7. Stanley to throw the football. Fires, has the completion of the first down. The catch made by Norwood, his second catch of the game. 36 now in the season, a leading pass catcher for FAMU. Norwood with a first down catch.
Just a veteran play right here by Stanley. That first window was taken away. He pump faked. He waited for Norwood to clear, found him in the second window over the middle of the field, and connected with him for the first.
Stanley 5 of 7, 86 yards, very efficient. One of the most efficient quarterbacks in the MEAC.
3-yard line.
Stanley's pass completed again, the far sideline.
Stanley's pass
catch made by Murphy.
Chavez Murphy.
Chavez Murphy, 6'6", 210, man, and they play him all across the formation. You'll see him lined up outside. You'll see him lined up in the slot. They utilize that big frame, and they utilize it perfectly on the sideline, which is why Stanley had a really good window to fit that football in. And when he's in the rhythm, he's like Elijah Staley. He does a great job of finding an open man.
20th catch of the season for Murphy. They keep it on the ground this time. They're putting some positive run plays together.
And they're getting a lot of freshmen involved. Henryless is a freshman as well, another redshirt freshman getting carries here against Morgan State. So you start to see them building for the future while playing in the present, which is why you have a lot of excitement about this FAMU program moving forward.
Henryless played at Lincoln High School in Miami, Florida. Third down, third and short coming up for the Rattlers. To give the Ray. Ray has the first down and more, cuts down across the 30-yard line and is dragged out of bounds. 7-yard pickup for Ray and a first down for FAMU.
And you see what they're doing, partner. They're running outside because they can't run downhill in the teeth of that defense where Jai Franklin is located. So they're getting outside and getting great blocks from their wide receivers and from their wing backs to spring these running backs. So good chess matchup right now between FAMU and Morgan State. So we'll see what Morgan State does to compensate for them getting gashed on the outside.
Ray ended up picking up 9 yards in that last run. First and 10 from Morgan State's 26-yard line for FAMU. Stanley to throw the football. Here comes some pressure on his backside. Gets rid of it and has the completion. And out of bounds, Norwood with his third catch of this first half.
This is why I'm high on MEAC football, because you're seeing two outstanding gunslingers in this ball game. Stanley has a whip of an arm. We talked about Staley's ability to throw the football anywhere he wants to on the football field, and this is why their passing game, when it's on point, is tough to defend, because these guys can really get themselves out of trouble and find the open man and get it to him wherever they wanted to go.
Stanley's 63.7% is just ahead of the FAMU single-season percentage mark set by Ben Doherty in 2013. And here's a FAMU touchdown. Ricky Henryless with the touchdown run, his first touchdown of the season. He had 100 yards rushing last week, and his first touchdown for FAMU.
And Henryless deserves to give that game ball, that touchdown ball, to Norwood. Watch this block here by Norwood. Just cleared out the space for Henryless to make that guy miss and get to the end zone. And you saw when he made that block, Norwood had his hands up like, yep, that's a touchdown. But just a great effort played by the receiver, helping his running back out, getting into the end zone.
Henryless' first touchdown of the season, good for 24 yards. And FAMU answers the Morgan State score. 9 plays, 74 yards, 14-7. The Rattlers with the lead. Ricky Henryless with a 24-yard touchdown run on a 9-play, 74-yard drive that ate up 4:25 on the clock. Morgan State fan faithful here to cheer on their Bears. They're down by a touchdown now. We'll see what Morgan State can do offensively. In the last 3 weeks watching Morgan State, never seen an offense break down their defense like FAMU did there on that 9-play drive. Return up past the 20-yard line by White. He was tackled and very slow getting up. Gets up to the 22-yard line. White gets up slowly. So Morgan State will have the football back after their 5-play, 63-yard drive that ended with Elijah Staley running in from 41 yards out for the touchdown. Here's the long legs of number 1 and the powerful left arm of Elijah Staley.
Can we add dual threat to his tag now?
Let's hold off on that, but I think it's coming. So 1st and 10 for Morgan State, 6:13 remaining before Sports Fever Television Network halftime show. Staley fires to Poteet in the completion. And a Morgan State first down. Good first down play.
Staley's pass was completed to number 14.
Yeah, Staley bypassed an open guy for an even more open guy in Poteet. So both offenses right now are really firing on all cylinders, and they're making plays on the outside. They're running the football well, and quarterbacks have been very accurate.
Staley's pass incomplete, looking for Bailey. Offensively, Emory, Morgan State 178 yards. FAMU 182 yards. So both teams putting up some good offensive numbers.
And it hasn't been busted coverages, so to speak, but we've seen offenses slowly move the ball down the field against two very good and athletic defenses.
Staley 10 of 17, 83 yards. Second down, going to keep it himself. Faked it to Herb Walker Jr., and the ball's on the turf, and it's picked up by FAMU. Going to be returned for a score. Looked like Staley was injured, and returned for a score by Dorneval.
That's the guy we spotlighted before the game, like, hey, keep an eye on him because he's always around the football, and he's also a guy that has a habit of bringing things back for touchdowns. Staley was a little bit shaken up on that play and put the ball down, but good job by FAMU scooping and scoring, and now they've slowly built up a nice sizable lead, 20-7 here against Morgan State.
Looked like Staley was injured on that play. Kept it himself and left the ball on the turf. The FAMU defense gets him on the board. Kick after is good. Back-to-back touchdowns by the Rattlers. The defense picking up the fumble and returning it for a touchdown. FAMU 21, Morgan State 7. It was Yisrael with the return of the Staley fumble and returned it for the FAMU touchdown. Returned it 29 yards for the score. FAMU has a lot of their players have double numbers, and number 13 is one of those cases with the double numbers. So it was Yisrael who had the return for the FAMU touchdown and give them 21-7 lead. After the return by Bailey, Morgan State will be back out offensively. We'll have to keep our eyes on Elijah Staley, who looked a little limp after that fumble. See how he is doing after running that 41-yard touchdown for the Morgan State score.
Yeah, he's still on the sideline. Looks like they're going to bring in the backup here, at least for this series, so we'll see.
So Harris will come in, back up from Washington, Georgia, the 6'3", 200-pound sophomore.
Yeah, Staley has his helmet on the sideline, and he's walking around, so maybe a few plays.
DeAndre Harris in at quarterback now for Morgan State. Here comes some pressure. They're going to blitz the new quarterback, and they get the big sack. That's their 18th sack of the season for the FAMU defense.
Yeah, good job right there by the redshirt sophomore David Richardson, number 98, getting in there and bringing him down. But just see a guy that, again, FAMU did exactly what you're supposed to do when you see a new quarterback come in. You blitz him and see how he's going to handle pressure. And I like that Morgan State didn't call a standard run play for the quarterback. They wanted him to throw the football, but FAMU said, you know what, we're just going to come after him and see how he's going to handle pressure, and he brought him down for a sack.
Richardson now with 3.5 sacks from Washington, D.C., the sophomore playing up north. I'm sure he has some family here watching this one today. Harris keeps it himself. I think definitely Harris is more of the mobile quarterback than Elijah Staley.
And you see the difference in Jets right there because he got around that corner pretty quickly. So if they can get themselves out of a jam here, there's 4 minutes and 26 seconds left in the half. It sets things up for them into the second half. So, again, try to string together positive plays with this quarterback with Harris to back up and come away with points.
4:15 remained before the half, 3rd and 4. From the 32, Harris to throw the football. Looking for Poteet. Ruled a catch at midfield. First down for the Bears. Poteet with the grab. Stayed in bounds. Good footwork. by Poteet.
Talk about a bucket throw. That's a difficult throw to make for a quarterback versus cover 2. In between the corner and the safety, you have to drop it right there in the bucket. Great job by Poteet, knowing where he was on the sideline, was able to get the football and his feet inbound for the reception. So Morgan State's offense, doesn't matter the quarterback, they're still able to move the football here against FAMU.
19-yard pickup from Harris to Poteet on that pass play. Eric Harrell with the carry across the 45-yard line down to the 44 on the first down run.
Good mix of run pass here by Morgan State and good productive run by Morgan State. So you're seeing the Bears find offense now in the latter part of the season, something that we didn't see in that opening game against Towson. We saw them have success against Savannah State. And the most important thing, in the second quarter, I believe we haven't really had any penalties from either side. So a clean football game here, and that's why both offenses have picked up the pace.
After Morgan State and Fred T. Ferrier's team was flagged 4 times for 50 yards early in this game. Harris fires. Intended receiver was looking too high, fired it way up in the air, was looking for Dominic Trigg, but that was well over Trigg's head.
Yeah, he had to be 8 feet tall to get that football, but luckily it fell incomplete. 3rd and medium, so it's a manageable situation. I would expect Coach Ferry to find a way to get a run-pass option here with this dual-threat quarterback.
Trigg only listed at 6'1", not 8 feet, because that would have been very helpful if he was, and he probably would have caught that. Harris is going to keep it himself. Tries to lunge forward for the first down, but falls short of the 40-yard line. Down to 41, short of the first.
Interesting situation here, man. I know he's thinking about going for it. He called the timeout, so I think that essentially tells you that they're going to go for this.
.244 remain before the half. FAMU up 21-7. Big fourth down coming up for Morgan State. Morgan State, 25% on fourth downs. And a special congratulations is going out to Raymond Chester, named to the Black College Football Hall of Fame class of 2018. Widely considered as one of the greatest tight ends of his time, from his days with the historic undefeated Morgan State team from 1968 to playing in the NFL with the Oakland Raiders and the Baltimore Colts. Chester has always been among the best of the best. 4-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, NFL Rookie of the Year, United States Football League Man of the Year. Congratulations, Raymond Chester, named to the Black College Football Hall of Fame class of 2018. Big fourth down coming up from Morgan State. We'll see what the Bears can do when we get back. Back at Morgan State in Baltimore, Maryland. Big fourth down coming up for the Bears. 4th and 2 on the Rattlers' 41-yard line. Harris has the first down for Morgan State.
Yeah, you knew it was going to be some sort of zone read or option play. You want to get your quarterback that has a lot of mobility out there on the perimeter, give him an opportunity to pick up the first, and that's exactly what they did. Good timeout by Coach Ferry, good play call, and it ends up paying off for them with the first.
DeAndre Harris in at quarterback for Elijah Staley, who has a 41-yard touchdown, but he was injured when he fumbled the football, and it was a scoop and score for FAMU to give him this 21-7 lead. 2:15 remaining before the half. Harris goes deep to the end zone and incomplete. He was looking for David.
You want Dushan David to realize that he's a live option on that play, because he had inside leverage. If he was to run that full speed like he did when he saw the ball was coming his way, he might have had a touchdown. Good throw right there by Harris, because he threw it to where the leverage was, which was inside and away from the defender. That could have been a touchdown. That's a big play that was missed right there by David.
Harris this season's limited. He was just 6 of 14 for 41 yards. In at quarterback now for Morgan State. Harrell in the backfield with him. Harris fires. Incomplete, looking for Bailey down the 20-yard line. Threw it short to Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey got caught in his own tracks right there. He couldn't really come back for it. The ball was really short, but it was coming with a lot of velocity, so he couldn't really adjust to it. So it's one of those missed plays right there with a new quarterback and a receiver. He's not used to that timing yet.
Morgan State just 4 of 9 on third downs. A third down here for them now. Look at Elijah Staley on the sidelines with his Bears with a 3rd and 10. Harris to throw. Has the completion to Poteet. Touchdown, Morgan State. 33-yard touchdown. Harris to Poteet. His 2nd touchdown of the season. And Harris's 1st touchdown pass of the year. The Bears on the board.
That's a great job by Harris, reading the blitz and knowing where the open guy was, where his hot read took him over the seam, and he was able to stand in there and find that receiver Poteet right down the hash marks for the touchdown and threw a perfect football where Poteet didn't have to break stride. They brought a blitz off the edge. That safety got caught in his tracks as well, watching what was going on in the backfield. But Harris did a great job standing there, found a weak spot in that defense, and made Florida A&M pay with a touchdown.
Rhea's extra point is good, and that's a 10-play, 74-yard drive. Took 3:31 off the clock with backup quarterback Andre Harris hooking up with Poteet, the 33-yard touchdown. Here's another look.
Yeah, he saw it right away, too. He said, okay, I have a guy open in the slot, running down the seam there, blitzing off the edge. I know I have that one-on-one coverage. That safety is watching me. And DeAndre Harris just, what a phenomenal job stepping in short notice and leading a touchdown drive. So it not only helps you out by getting a touchdown, but it also helps you in making sure you don't rush Staley back out there with an injury, whatever the injury may be. But you had that comfort knowing that your quarterback, your backup quarterback, can do things like this, which got you right back into the ballgame.
It didn't look like Harris skipped a beat at all coming in and leading that 10-play drive, capped off by the 33-yard touchdown to Poteet. And we have a 1-touchdown game now. FAMU's lead, 21-14. Difference was that fumble by Staley, the scoop and the score by the Rattlers. Long kick, touchback, and FAMU will have it. There's some extra activity going on between these two teams down by the 17-yard line, but the referees did a good job to step in and make sure that didn't happen. Last year was a wild game in Tallahassee, a game won by FAMU that actually the last 30 seconds or so ended up in a little bit of a brawl between these two teams. They really got after each other last year, the final 39 seconds of the game. And FAMU came back and won that game. They rallied to beat Morgan State last year 22-21 at Bragg Stadium. That was a wild scene. Morgan State, Emory, had a 21-9 lead heading into the fourth quarter and watched FAMU come back to win the game 22-21. That was 1 year ago.
Yeah, you're not going to walk into Bragg Memorial Stadium and expect a normal game. That's one of the more historic spots in HBCU and college football. A lot of history there and a lot of wild games throughout their history.
Incomplete pass from Staley to Murphy. And they average about 19,000 fans down there in Tallahassee at Bragg Stadium. Last year they were third in the entire FCS in attendance. The give to Bowers. Running on the outside. And there's a player injured on the far sideline. A Morgan State Bear is down on the FAMU sideline after Bowers' run. Take a look at Bowers' run right here.
Oh, 28 has nice, his jersey is being turned inside out. So you just saw the shot of Coach Ferrier screaming on the sideline. Maybe that's what he's screaming about, the holding calls, and where you're getting great blocking up front against a very good defensive line that doesn't get moved off the spot pretty quickly. He's really upset about those holds.
Fred T. Ferrier talking to the official. Only one penalty so far in this first half on FAMU and 4 for 50 yards against Morgan State. So Coach Ferrier is talking about that offensive line for the Rattlers holding his Bears.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of holds right now on that perimeter, probably because that's where they're having a lot of success.
Third down coming up for FAMU. 3rd and 5 from Morgan State's 30-yard line. Having trouble with the snap, back to Staley, and he just has to fall on the football.
Yeah, we saw Stanley have the same issue with that Staley had as far as just they're catching the snap and they're just losing the football. So that's not necessarily on the center. You see right there tapping his shoulder pass saying, hey, that's me, that's on me. And that rightfully so, that ball was right in his hands. He just dropped it. And we saw Elijah Staley had the same issue earlier in the first quarter.
So Stanley drops the football, and FAMU will punt the ball back to Morgan State. They'll give him about 1:37 to work with, and there is a good look at Ryan Stanley, the sophomore quarterback. Florida kid, old country Florida guy.
He's FAMU through and through, man. You get him talking about the FAMU program and what it means to him, and he's glowing. He loves playing for Florida A&M. He loves being a Rattler. He loves being a quarterback. And this offense is just completely different with him on the center.
Two storied programs, really, in football as far as Morgan State and FAMU. FAMU, 12 national champs, first NCAA Division I FCS national title, and, of course, you know, the 4 Pro Football Hall of Famers that Morgan State has in there. Both these are two storied schools battling here today in the MEAC.
Yeah, FAMU also beat University of Miami, I want to say, in 1979 as well. So they can compete, you know, and we know Morgan State has good history as far as the Leroy Kellys are concerned, and FAMU has a guy in Ken Riley that definitely deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with the Cincinnati Bengals, 70-plus interceptions in his career. How he's not in is a crime anyway.
I agree. 28th meeting in the series between these two teams. FAMU leads the overall series. Started back in 1943, 20-7. Morgan State posted a victory here in Baltimore in 2015 here at Hughes Stadium, 21-7. And I already mentioned that crazy game last year that was won by FAMU 22-21. Harris tries to get the completion, but an immediate hit laid on Jones, who couldn't hang on to the football.
It's a good job right there by Orlando McKinley, just flying up and dislodging that football from the receiver. They've been active. They've been aggressive. This has been a really contested, close contested, and well-contested game by both teams. I've been impressed with both sides of the ball for both squads.
McKinley with an interception this year. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. Been stellar as a defensive back. And that's Herb Walker Jr. crossing close to midfield. Good run there by Herb Walker Jr. And I really like their running attack. Having those two running backs that get fresh legs in there. Harrell, we saw him last offensive series. Now it's Walker in there with fresh legs, feeling good. Harris, time to throw the football. Fires down the sideline. A big catch. Big grab there close to the 10-yard line. And another great pass put up for Torrance Little Jr. coming up with the catch.
And what was most impressive about that catch is not the catch itself, because that's a great job. It's the fact that he stayed in bounds going down that sideline. Normally we see wide receivers step out, the ref would throw his hat, but good job by Torrance Little Jr. staying in bounds, then going up and high pointing that football, and Coach Ferrier gets that timeout.
Good for a 39-yard pickup. Harris to Little. That's Little, only his 11th catch of the season for the sophomore from Richmond, Virginia. Good for 38 yards.
You go back to this replay, you see just a good decision by DeAndre Harris, just going down the sideline but waiting until it opened up. And that's the second big play he has made from the neck up, as far as waiting for something to clear, trusting what he's seeing, and putting the football accurately where it needs to be. Just a great play all around. I've been very impressed with DeAndre Harris coming into this ball game and keeping his offense on pace. He has him right now inside the 15-yard line in position to score to tie this game.
Harris 3 for 7 passing, 90 yards. And the touchdown pass. He's done a good job. In for Elijah Staley.
Got one-on-one down at the bottom of the screen, too.
1st and 10 from the Rattlers' 13-yard line. Harris fires, end zone, touchdown, Poteet. Morgan State is on the board again. Poteet with another touchdown grab.
And another dime thrown by Harris. Once again, tight window throw, put it to where only his receiver can make a play on it, and fit it right in between that safety and the corner, and the receiver had inside leverage. Poteet had leverage, but he threw it right to where it needed to be thrown, and once again, a touchdown.
Poteet now 3 touchdowns on the season, 2 today. We're an Alex Rea extra point away from a tie football game here in Baltimore, Maryland. Rea's kick is up, and it's good. We're tied up at 21 all. Harris, a 13-yard touchdown to Poteet. His first touchdown went for 33 yards. This one goes for 13.
That ball was right in between the low-playing corner and the high-covering safety in the bucket. Trust Poteet to go up and grab the football like he did. And again, that's what you want to see your backup quarterback come in and do in relief. and just keep the offense on pace, help move the football down the field, don't turn the ball over, make good decisions. He's done all of that in his 2 series, and it's a big reason why they're tied up right now. So FAMU has to come out, 35 seconds left. You don't want to push it too aggressively, but you want to see what you can get in order to determine whether or not you're going to continue to push it aggressively. But this is a great game, and now we have something new going into halftime.
4 plays, 58 yards, took just 53 seconds off the clock, and we're tied up at 21 all. Harris, 13 yards to Poteet, so 2 touchdown passes. Harris to Poteet, the connection, and a tie football game with 35 seconds remain before the end of the first half. On the return, Smith up to the 25-yard line. That's where FAMU will have it with just 28 seconds. So I don't know how creative they want to get here before we break for half.
You may see one play because Morgan doesn't have timeout. So you may see one play where they test the waters a bit, but probably revert back to just being comfortable with the tie score and going into halftime.
Look at Rico Kennedy. Morgan brings some pressure. Stanley will keep it. Loses the football. It's on the turf. Morgan State picks it up. Rico Kennedy was tracking down Stanley. The football is loose, and the Bears have it with 15 seconds remaining before halftime. Turnover number 3 for FAMU.
Rico Kennedy, man. We were waiting for him to make a play. He made probably one of the bigger plays of the game, creating that turnover right before the half. Just a great job just hustling. First, you get great hustle by Malachi Washington, who picks up the fumble, and a great job by Rico Kennedy, who forced the fumble. So Morgan State's getting great play from their premier players on defense.
Rico Kennedy knocked that football out. 3 turnovers for FAMU in this first half. Harris fires. Incomplete, looking for Baldwin. Couldn't hang on.
He's lucky that defender slipped there because that could have been going the other way. Just a great job. Orlando McKinley has played some good football in his first half. He was trying to drive on that ball, but he slipped, and good thing the receiver dropped it. But I thought McKinley had a chance to pick it off and bring it back.
12 seconds remain before the half. Daniel Pulaski will have more. Down on the field, have some special guests that coming up at halftime on our Sports Fever Television Network halftime report. Coming up in a few seconds. Harris. Pressure comes, fires the football down the sidelines and nearly intercepted. In and out of the hands. That should have been an interception, right? In and out of the hands of the FAMU defensive backs and Andre Hines.
Nice bailout plan right there with the person, the foul, roughing the passer. So you may get a chance to kick a field goal here.
Hines probably kicking himself that he didn't have that pick. There was a penalty marker anyway on FAMU, and gives Morgan State an opportunity to have some good field position and try a field goal. They haven't had a lot of success kicking the ball this year, but Alex Rea will line up and try this 39-yarder. Alex Rea. .39-yard field goal attempt is up, and it is no good. Alex Rea kick is no good. Missed a 45-yarder earlier in this game and misses that 39-yarder. So 2 missed kicks by Alex Rea here in the first half, and we're all tied 21-21. We'll hear from Coach Fred T. Ferrier in a moment. And we'll hear from Coach Fred T. Ferrier about his team and his backup quarterback scoring 2 touchdowns to tie this football game at 21-all. Danielle?
Thanks, Phil. Now, Coach, a big quarterback change obviously working out for you. Will we expect to see Harris in the second half?
Yeah, we're going to go in at halftime, and we're just going to try to figure out how to run what we want to run. DeAndre's obviously playing well, missed a couple throws, but we're just trying to figure out how to run our offense the best way we can, move the ball and score points no matter who's out there.
And a huge run for a touchdown to end that half. How important is it to keep that momentum going?
it's absolutely big. We were down 2 scores. Defense got a couple stops and a turnover. We like to finish the half off and make that field goal, and we feel a lot better going in at halftime, but we can come out in the second half, play it like it's a 0-0 game, and see what we can do in the last 30 minutes.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck. Phil.
Thank you, Danielle. Morgan State outscores FAMU 21-14 in the second quarter. We're tied at 21-all from Baltimore, Maryland. The Sports Fever Television Network halftime show is coming up.
Back to the Capital One halftime report.
Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh.
Morgan State and Baltimore, Maryland. Entertaining first half. First half highlights. FAMU got on the board first. We're up 7-0, but Morgan State comes back with Elijah Staley. Runs in from 41 yards out, capping a 5-play, 63-yard drive to tie the game at 7-7. And then Ryan Stanley, the completion to Ricky Pernilis with the touchdown, in from 24 yards. 14-7 score. Staley fumbles the football. It was returned, a scoop and a score for FAMU. And they were back on top. And then Harris in the football game for Staley hits Poteet for the touchdown to make it 21-14. And the same two do it again, this time for 13 yards. Harris to Poteet. Back-to-back touchdowns for that combination. We're all tied at 21-21 here at the half.
Should be an exciting second half, man.
Should be. Here we are underway, second half action of this MEAC contest. And a whistle. Stop play on that kickoff. Morgan State 1-6 this year. FAMU 2-6 coming into this game. There's a look at Alex Wood, graduate from Iowa in 1979. One thing about Alex Wood, he served as the running back coach of the University of Miami from 89 to 93, helping that team win a pair of national championships, including that perfect 12-0 season in 1991. Then he was the head coach at James Madison from 95 to 98, was the head coach at Buffalo for a while, and now in his third season here at FAMU.
He's one of the better coaches I've come across doing these games, man. He's just a mild-mannered guy that really knows how to coach backs, too.
Ray with the carry on a first down. Productive first down run by Ray. And Ray's opportunities been pretty effective running the football for Ray. Alex Wood definitely has the stamp of the late Denny Green. He was his running back coach at Iowa and really like a father figure to Coach Wood, and was a mentor. It's Coach Dennis Green. He worked with him throughout his coaching career, and it looks to a lot of things that Denny Green did his coaching career, and Alex Wood is doing now, living on the coach's memory.
Yeah, it's funny, a lot of people, we always talk about the Bill Walsh coaching tree, but when you take a look at that Denny Green coaching tree from college all the way to the pros, it's very impressive. And Alex Wood is one of his disciples.
Give straight ahead, not much there. The defense comes up and stops spells the senior running back. Doesn't get much.
And that was 3rd and 2. They try to run right into the teeth of that Morgan State defense. And we talked about this in the first half. They were having a lot of success running off tackle, but not running right where big number 55, who made that stop, Jai Franklin, is. You're not going to run on the inside of Morgan State. You're going to run probably on the outside, get some perimeter gains, but going down the middle, that's not going to happen, and it didn't happen on that 3rd and short for FAMU.
66 yards rushing the football so far in this game. That's it for FAMU. They'll punt the football away on a 4th down. Fair catch called for by Poteet. And that's where Morgan State will have the ball for the first opportunity in this second half with a tie game, 21-21. Very quickly, personal foul was called, penalty. Take a look. The reason for the flag here, Emory.
And he leaps over, and the guy just helps him out with a somersault by flipping him. They're going to call that every time.
A couple of scores around the MEAC. Howard with a 21-3 in the lead in the second quarter against South Carolina State. And North Carolina Central up on Delaware State 14-0 in the second quarter. Later today, Hampton and Bethune-Cookman North Carolina A&T at tops of the MEAC. They're 8-0 on the season, 5-0 in conference play. Hampton unbeaten, 4-0 in MEAC play and 5-2 overall. Right behind them, NC Central, Howard, and Norfolk State, all 3-1. So a lot to be determined yet in MEAC play.
That Hampton game is going to be huge because that's a big game, and Bethune-Cookman is very good defensively. So we'll see, and this thing still has yet to be decided. And if you're A&T, you have to be excited because you're sitting here with the bye week just watching things play out before you get right back at it.
Stanley keeps it himself, pulls it away, but doesn't get much.
Doesn't fool Jai Franklin, man. He is a Sunday player, in my opinion. Very good defensive lineman.
Stanley fires, has the completion at midfield. The catch made by Chad Hunter, who has the touchdown here today. Hunter with the catch, and it's going to be a first down for FAMU, now in Bears territory.
And this is an example of a great play nullified by a greater play. You're going to see right there on the outside, I want to say it was Malachi Washington that had an opportunity to bring down Staley or really disrupt that pass, but Staley was able to shake him off and fire a dart to the receiver.
First and 10 for the Rattlers. Stanley to throw the football. Fires it down. Nice catch. Wow. Brandon Norwood, the leading receiver, has serious skills. What a great grab, and stays in bounds for the big completion down to the 10-yard line.
No panic in his game. He was able to track that football downfield like a right fielder and was able to contort his body and haul it in. Makes the grab and gets that 1 foot in bounds. That's all you need in college. It's a great job by Stanley throwing the football deep down the field and also Norwood making the adjustment.
39-yard pickup. First and goal now for FAMU. Wildcat look. Bowers takes the snap of the Wildcat look, and a penalty marker comes down. Bowers across the 5-yard line, down to the 3-yard line, but we'll have to wait for the penalty marker as a direct snap on the Wildcat look to Devin Bowers.
I don't think they were set or...
Offense. We're in motion. Either one on preset, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, that flag came out pretty quickly, so you saw two guys moving at the same time. I thought that was the call. Normally when you see it come out quick, it's either that or a hold, and you got to get set. That's the issue you run when you try to do trickeration when you get outside of your game plan.
Third penalty of the game against FAMU. Another penalty marker flies before the play.
They're going to get those 5 yards back because Morgan was deep into the backfield.
This will be Morgan's sixth penalty of the game. So back and forth penalties, one for FAMU and then one for Fred T. Ferrier's guys. Penalties have been adding up, stacking up the last 2 weeks after they did a great job after that Towson game to cut down on their penalties, but they're back in the flag patrol the last 2 weeks. Stanley, the sophomore quarterback, in the shotgun. Give to Bowers. Swallowed up by the Bears defense. Franklin is always there to close the door. Even if he doesn't make the tackle, Franklin's standing in front of the runner and make him close off that hole.
And to ensure that they were going to make that play, they slanted Franklin off the side and also brought an additional blitzer off the edge. So that was just a great defensive call by Morgan State.
Second and goal at the 9 for the Rattlers.
Ernest Jones, the defensive coordinator for Morgan State. Done a great job with his defense the last 2 years. Stanley going to the end zone. Fade route. Ran out of real estate way back corner of the end zone. And incomplete. Just ran out of room. Lofted that ball in the air, looking for Williams was the intended target.
And it still was a great throw because he put it to only the place where his receiver can make that grab. And good job by the defender just ride him out. Trey Revelle did a good job of just riding that receiver out of bounds and making that throw even tougher. So good defensive play once again by Morgan State.
Third and goal now for the Rattlers. Stanley sacked. That was a big play by Morgan State defense coming up and making the big sack for the Bears. They needed that, and that's our boy Rico Kennedy.
Yeah, once again, just making great plays, and their defense has been active at the second level. Didn't fall for the hesitation and was able to bring down Stanley for a sack.
Kennedy now with 5.5 sacks, 21 sacks for the entire Bears defense, which is second in the MEAC with 21 sacks this year. Field goal attempt on. The 34-yarder is up, and it is good. So FAMU tacks on 3 points with a field goal and take the lead once again, 24-21 over the Bears on the Sports Fever Television Network.
For the environment.
Allah's 33-yard field goal caps off a 10-play, 66-yard drive for FAMU. And they retake the lead, 24-21 from Morgan State. Herb Walker Jr. takes the kickoff across the 31-yard line down to the 32-yard line, and that's where Morgan State will have it offensively after Herb Walker Jr.'s return.
You know it's important when they put their star tailback back there to return kicks, and he's just showing off a variety of skills. He's able to return kicks, punts, and also as a receiver and a runner out of the backfield.
Last week, Morgan State had 2 players ejected from that Howard game. It caused for some lineup changes, and there's Elijah Staley on the sidelines. Might be problems with his legs, or maybe after that fumble, coach just wanted to make a change. Harris is in at the quarterback in position, has 2 touchdown passes to Poteet, and there's Eric Harrell with the run, a good first down run. Pickup of close to 8 yards, 2nd and 2 coming up.
Both offenses have really had a bead on these defensive fronts, and they're running the football effectively. They're moving the football down the field, and we know Morgan State has that 1-2 punch in the backfield with Harrell and also Herb Walker Jr. And maybe coach just wants to go with the hot hand. You see his backup quarterback, DeAndre Harris, is not struggling moving the football down the field and doesn't have to rush Staley back into the lineup.
Harris 4 of 9 throwing and firing down the far sidelines, and incomplete. Was going deep for Baldwin and overthrew Baldwin.
You like him identifying the one-on-one matchups and taking a chance because he has had success throwing the football and finding those guys on the outside. So DeAndre Harris shows you and shows those kids out there that's in high school how important it is to stay prepared as a backup quarterback or a backup player. When your number is called, you have to step in and play well, and he's done a great job for this offense.
Morgan State has hit 8 different guys have caught the football. A couple of guys out of the backfield to receiver. So 8 different players have caught passes today. Harris will keep it. And a late penalty marker comes down after he was knocked out of bounds.
And we get the defender here for a horse collar. Kind of pulled him late. But again, Harris doing a great job just protecting the football and keeping this offense on pace.
Personal foul. Forced tackle. Defense, number 27. 50-yard penalty. First down.
Jason Saltzman, our referee, with the call. That'll put Morgan State in the Rattler territory. Give him a first down off that penalty, the horse collar right there on the screen.
Yeah, Jakaris Wilson just got the outside corner of the back of his jersey. He can't really grab it, but you love his effort, love his hustle, getting out there trying to make a play, a redshirt freshman.
Morgan State trying to answer the field goal by FAMU to start this second half. Harris throws it hot to Baldwin, a little above his head. He had his hands on it, but couldn't hold on to it. Baldwin with the incompletion. He was targeted there and could come down with the ground.
Great read, great throw, just poor execution on the reception. I mean, again, that hits you right in the hands. You're a Division I wide receiver. We expect you to catch that if you're the quarterback. So FAMU is finding there are some holes in their defense right now, especially in the secondary that DeAndre Harris has been able to exploit. They have to tighten those things up if they want to get this stop.
Baldwin, only a freshman from Southfield, Michigan. Harris will keep it himself. Puts his head down, tries to get to the first down, and very close to that first down marker. Looks like he'll just be short after a 9-yard run by Harris.
To be honest, they've had issues defending the zone read today. You saw Elijah Staley get outside for a big 41-yard touchdown run, and since Harris has come into the ball game, now the running element has really amped up to Morgan State's offense, and the Rattlers are having some issues in defending that play. They didn't expect that to happen in this game because they probably prepped all week for Staley.
7 and 12 on third downs for Morgan today. 3rd and 1. Eric Harrell has the first down. Across the 30, down to the 28-yard line, and a first down for Morgan State. Their 18th first down of the day.
It's been really good offensive football on both sides, but for Morgan State, you love the balance. The run game is there. They're efficient in the passing game. They have a good mix of the big play potential as well, so they really have this Rattler defense on their heels.
First down for Harris. Give to Harrell. Patient. Not a bad first down run for Eric Harrell, running right side.
Trench Mob is doing a great job today for Morgan State. They're really winning that battle up front. We talked about this in the open, how it's a strength versus strength battle, but their offensive line, you see guys getting out there, leading their block, leading their tailback around, Adrian Allen. So, again, their offensive line is winning that battle up front against Florida A&M.
Guys like Clarkton and Allen and Trigg, part of that trench mob, trying to open holes for guys like Eric Harrell to run through. And another first down for Morgan State down to the 15-yard line. Harrell gets the first down with an explosive run.
And to use a boxing reference, this is what you see in a heavyweight fight. Body blow, and then you come with the overhand right. But you see right here, just good offensive line play. Man on man, big on big, and just cleared out of space for Harrell.
Morgan State struggled in the red zone last week against Howard. Trying to have some success in the red zone here. Try to take the lead. They haven't led yet this game.
False start, offense, number 84.
And a false start penalty on Morgan State, penalty number 7. Take them back 5 yards. So 75 yards of penalties. Takes them back to the 20. And a 1st and 15 now for the Bears. Yeah, they struggled last week in the red zone against Howard. They had 500 yards of total offense, but couldn't score when they got into the red zone. Harris takes it himself. Not too much there on that play by the quarterback keeper by Deronde Harris.
Yeah, he ran right into what looked to be Elijah Watkins, the big defensive tackle, or Darius Smith, I'm sorry, big number 54. Just a good form tackle.
Smith with 4.5 tackles for a loss and a tackle and 1.5 sacks for the 6'2", 235 senior. Harris being chased out of the pocket, fires. Out of bounds and incomplete. Good smart play there by Harris.
And he didn't panic. You saw that bobble snap, and that was on him. The ball may have been a little high, but good job by him corralling it and not panicking and throwing that football away.
So again, the high snap. We've seen so many center snap exchange problems this year in different levels of football that we've watched. 3rd down now for Morgan State. And the Bears are going to take a timeout to talk over this crucial 3rd and 13. We'll step aside. The Rattlers with a 24-21 lead over Morgan State.
Good to our customers and good for the environment.
Morgan State just 8 of 13 on 3rd downs. They have a 3rd and 13 situation here in front of them. They need to get to the 5-yard line for a first down. Red zone troubles. Morgan State converting just 27.8% of their red zone trips into touchdowns. The Bears scored just 6 of 18 chances in the red zone coming into this game, scoring 5 touchdowns, converting just 1 of 4 field goal attempts, and they had 2 field goals missed here this week, so now 1 and 6 at field goal opportunities in the red zone. 3rd and 13. Harris fires, no one home, and throws it deep into the far sideline. It'll be a 4th down coming up for Morgan State.
They tried some trickeration right there. They wanted to get the defense influence of what was going on to the quick screen and come back on the far side of the field, on the short side of the field, with a guy running down the rail, but it didn't work itself out. Florida A&M played it perfectly and took away that option.
I guess that DJ Trigg, 19, was the intended target, but he threw it well over his head. Here's another opportunity, 35-yard attempt for Alex Rea. 0 for 2 so far on field goals. This kick is up and good. We have a tie football game. Alex Rea ties this game up at 24 all. It's MEAC football on the Sports Fever Television Network. So after 6 touchdowns in the first half, it's turned into a field goal battle here in the third quarter. 2 field goals apiece, the last one coming from Alex Rea to tie this game at 24-24. 12-play, 50-yard drive for Morgan State ends in a 35-yard field goal by Alex Rea. Rea now 1 of 3 on field goals this afternoon for Morgan State. Touchback. FAMU will have the football offensively. I guess the defenses, that was probably something that both coaching staffs talked about, how to slow down these offenses. And after 6 touchdowns in the first half, both teams just manage a field goal each here in the third.
And Florida A&M has to get back into rhythm. They've been sort of out of sync. They were playing efficient and effective football in the first half. They were able to drive down and get a field goal, but we'll see if they can pick right back up where they left off offensively from the first half.
FAMU with the ball from their own 25-yard line. Stanley's pass complete. Norwood still on his feet. And then tackled behind, and the football is free, and Morgan State says they have it. I believe there might have been a whistle. Morgan State always very aggressive defensively, trying to strip that ball from Brandon Norwood.
I tell you what, though, what a grab by Norwood. A one-hand grab, focused on it, and maybe a quick whistle. Listening here. Broke a couple tackles. Simultaneously, so Florida A&M got away with one right there.
3-yard pickup, that completion to Norwood. So 2nd down and 7. Stanley throws. Has the completion. Nifty moves. Great run after catch. Great job there by Smith. Smith using his fancy footwork. You like the run after catch.
Kareem Smith showing you how to get in and out of traffic. You see right there just making 3 guys miss and get right back upfield, and nearly broke that one for a longer game, but good job just making guys miss and just getting upfield.
We have an injured player down on the field. We'll step aside. Tie game, 24-24.
Today's game on STN is brought to you by Morgan State University.
Franklin, the injured player on this play, rolled up by his own guy. FAMU. First down play.
FAMU did exactly what they wanted to do and try to run right where Franklin would be playing, but Trayvon Rogers did a good job just flying up and run support, making that stick at the line of scrimmage.
1 yard gain.
Here's a look at Franklin being attended to on the Morgan State sideline. Tie game, 3:35 remaining, third quarter. 2nd down for Stanley, the sophomore. Stanley's going to run the football across midfield into Bears territory and hit and knocked down at the 46-yard line.
A good job on the back end by the Bears, making sure there were no options back there for Stanley to find down the field, and he just did the next best thing, take off, try to pick up some positive yards. Stanley
stands at 6'3", 190 pounds, 13 of 17, 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns this afternoon for the Rattlers. Stanley's been pretty good. Been pretty good the last couple of weeks.
He's a difference maker.
3rd down now for FAMU. 3 of 7 on 3rd downs today. Stanley has the completion. Catch made by Hunter. That's a 1st down. That's really his go-to guy.
Yeah, Hunter's having a bit of a breakout game today as a redshirt freshman, amidst all of the senior leadership that he has around him, Travis Murphy and Brandon Norwood. But Hunter has stepped up big time today.
5 catches for Hunter, 85 yards and a touchdown. Bowers running the football on a great first down run. Picks up 6 yards on the carry for Bowers.
Now, I ran into my old high school running backs coach before the game in the press box, and one thing he taught me that you saw evident on his play, your eyes will lead you to wherever you want to go and your feet will follow. And that's just a great job using your eyes and your feet following you in the hole and picking up 5 yards.
2nd and 5 from the Bears 32 for FAMU. Stanley. Completion made. And another FAMU first down. The grab made by Murphy. Murphy's second catch of the afternoon.
Just a decisive throw, man. Stanley is a really good quarterback, and I just enjoy watching this offense work because it gets everyone involved. They can run the football. Their offensive line does a great job, and they have a quarterback back there in Stanley that's making great decisions.
21 catches now in the season for Murphy. 1st and 10 for FAMU. Stanley keeps it. So he's a threat to run the football when he has to, but not much there.
And the big reason why we're seeing Morgan State not have as much success defensively as we've seen them over the course of the season is because no Carl Garnes is back there. So we haven't seen him play today, and we know how physical he is and how aggressive and smart he is as a defender.
Final minute of this third quarter of a tie football game. Bowers across the 20 down to the... Let's go down to the field to Danielle. She has an injury news for us down on the sidelines. Go ahead, Danielle.
Thanks, Phil. We just saw Morgan State's Jay Franklin with the hard hit. He had to be helped off the field by his teammates. He's now being evaluated by the trainers for what appears to be a right ankle injury. We'll keep you updated. Phil?
They don't want to miss Franklin. 9.5 tackles for a loss and 2.5 sacks coming into this game. And a big part of their defense. And that is the end of the third quarter. We're tied at 24-24. Come on back. The fourth quarter is next from Baltimore, Maryland. Morgan State University, founded in 1867, celebrating their 150th anniversary of excellence in higher education. 150 years. Morgan State, happy birthday to Morgan State. Big third down. Stanley fires, end zone. Dropped the football, was looking for Norwood and could not hold on. Good coverage. Norwood had it in his hands. I guess it was a 50-50 ball that Norwood would love to come down with.
Yeah, that was the first bad throw by Stanley because Norwood wanted him to put that football out there. He had a step on it, but he had to stop and come back for it. Still had an opportunity to grab the football, but he had that defensive back beat initially, and he wanted him to put it out there so he could lay out for it. But once again, great stop by Morgan State, forcing the field goal.
Donovan Jackson on coverage. And here comes another field goal attempt. Another field goal attempt. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So 2 field goals in this second half for FAMU, and they're back on the board behind the leg of their kicker. It's 27-24. Back at Morgan State, Alley with a 36-yard field goal. He's made 2 here for FAMU in this second half and puts the Rattlers back up 27-24. 11 play, 56 yards, took 5:21 off the clock. FAMU back on top, 27-24. Morgan State on the return, and a penalty marker is thrown on the return by Herb Walker Jr.
That ref threw that flag from the 40-yard line, from the negative 40-yard line. It landed at the 17. That's a heck of a throw.
Got a lot on that. I guess he's excited watching the World Series. Wanted to be like one of the pitchers of the Astros or the Dodgers and threw that one pretty good. See what Fred T. Ferrier's guys can get done here.
It's like a 47-yard throw.
Yep. It's been a back and forth affair.
There's talent everywhere, man. You got a Hall of Fame athlete I'm standing next to in the booth. You got referees with strong arms out there. Impressive.
It's a great day in Baltimore, Maryland. 4 ties, 5 lead changes. Back and forth. Fred T. Ferrier trying to get his team to get their second win of the season and looking to move to 2-2 at home. They have some work to do. Herb Walker Jr. cutting on the first down and picks up 3 yards. Harris remains in at quarterback for Morgan State.
Yeah, good job. Good team defense right there by Jabril Hazley and Jakaris Wilson. Darius Smith, team defense. 3 guys around Herb Walker Jr. making sure he doesn't slip through and break a tackle and pick up a big game.
Two-headed monster splitting with Harris in the middle. Both Herb Walker Jr. and Eric Harrell both in. Looking for Poteet. Incomplete. Poteet with 2 touchdown catches, both from Harris in this game. Looking for his favorite target, number 14 there on your screen.
That was a nice zone buster concept on that particular play by Morgan State, where you flare out both backs to expand that defense and you set up a big window for Poteet to sit in. Just miscommunication between him and Harris, but that was a great play design, and that should have been a reception.
3rd and 8 coming up. Morgan 8 of 14 on 3rd downs in the game. Harris fires, has the completion, and a first down. Good job there. DJ Trigg with the catch and a first down grab to move the chains for Morgan State.
Good patience, good timing right there by the receiver running his route, but just a good job overall by DeAndre Harris, not panicking in the pocket, getting outside, keeping his eyes downfield, and making a nice bucket throw to the receiver. So again, this is a guy that hasn't been afraid of pressure. He hasn't been razzled by bad snaps or blitzes or even the pressure of the situation, and he's doing a good job stepping up for his offense.
Pickup of 15 yards and Morgan State's 20th first down of the game. Harris will keep it himself. Has 15 yards on the run. Harris, good option to hold on to it and run himself for 15 yards and another Morgan State first down.
Great read right there on the option. And when you're talking about decision making, you have to talk about it from a reading the defense level at the front lines. And good job allowing that defender to suck himself in, pull the football, and pick up 15 yards.
Morgan State closing in on 400 yards of total offense. They're at 377 yards of offense, and they've run 60 plays. Herb Walker Jr. gets the call, short gain on that first down.
So far in this ball game, we've seen the option play work, we've seen the deep ball work, we've seen the intermediate game work for both teams. So this is where you want to see which defense can step up and make a play. And right now, I think this is a crucial series for FAMU. Their defense has to find a way to stop Morgan State now or come up with a turnover and really take some of the air out of this momentum that Morgan State's offense is operating with.
2nd and 9 for the Bears. Harris, time to throw, fires, has the completion to Poteet, and the first down into Rattler territory up to the 45-yard line, and moves the chains for Morgan State. Now the Bears working in Rattler side of the field.
Yeah, I think Poteet fell on that football right there. That hurts when you have that happen, but good job, far hash throw. Excellent reception right there by Poteet picking up the first.
Poteet, 7 catches, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns, having an outstanding day. Herb Walker Jr. stacked up in the backfield, not much there, might have lost a yard.
We've called Jakaris Wilson's name a lot, and he's a 6'2", 230-pound redshirt freshman linebacker that's been involved in a lot of plays for this Rattler defense. He plays with length, and he's going to get bigger. He's going to be a very good difference maker in this conference.
2 weeks ago in the win over Savannah State, Bailey had that breakout game where he went over 100 yards, becoming the first Bear to go over 100 yards receiving since 2015. Poteet just a yard away, becoming the second wide receiver this year to go over 100 yards for Morgan State. 7 catches, 99 yards currently. 2nd down. Harris will keep it himself. Bounces off a tackler and stays on his feet and gets across the 40-yard line down to the 39.
Look, good quarterback power right there by Harris, and just a good job just following his fullback. And that's what the play play was. Just you pull the guard, you lead with the fullback, just a quarterback power. And he picked up 5. Now, you want to start to see him slide a little bit because, remember, we don't know if Elijah Staley is going to come back in this ballgame or how bad of an injury he's facing right now or dealing with. So you don't want to take too many shots when you don't have to.
Or if he's injured at all, this might be a coach's decision that Staley's on the sidelines. We're not quite sure. 3rd down after the 5-yard pickup by Harris, 3rd and 4. Herb Walker comes in the backfield now, and he'll take the ball. Herb Walker has the first down and more running room for Herb Walker across the 30 down to the 29-yard line, and another first down for Morgan State. Very impressive drive brewing for the Bears.
And that's why running the football with the quarterback pays off in the long run, because Florida A&M decided, you know what, we're going to gamble. This quarterback has decided to run more often than not, but he gave the football to Herb Walker Jr., who was unimpeded to the second level, and you know he's going to do Herb Walker things and make guys pay once he carries that football. So good job by Morgan State.
Herb Walker Jr. gets his 10th carry of the game, spins off a tackle and still on his feet down to the 10-yard line. 20-yard run by Herb Walker Jr. As an old running back, I know you have to be impressed with that run, Emery. Wow.
Gotta love it, man, because he's in that running back groove now. Consistent carries allows you to get into a groove and develop those moves, making guys miss. And after that play, you saw about a good 4 defenders of Florida A&M slowly get up off the ground. They're getting tired because Morgan State's offensive line is really starting to wear down this defensive front 7 of the Rattlers.
1st and goal for Morgan State, down 27-24, looking to get back on top. Pass complete down to the 5-yard line. Took a whole team of people to bring down David. All the Rattlers were around David to finally bring him down inside the 5-yard line.
He did a good job fighting through that contact. That's a lot of snakes around the football, man. And you see right there just a great pop pass, catch it, and just turn your shoulders up and get upfield. And he's a big guy to bring down, 6'3", 205. So Morgan State offense is cooking with Crisco now. They're on fire.
David's 2nd catch of the game. No Crisco for me. It's bad for my cholesterol. Give to Herb Walker Jr. up the middle. Fights for maybe a yard. Good job by the Rattlers defense to contain Walker that time.
Here's where you have an interesting situation where you're normally in spread formations, and I'm all for spreading teams out on the goal line, but where can you find room to run the football is going to be the biggest challenge here for Morgan State. Do you get into a big set, a ball set, where you bring in extra tight ends or go with that fullback in the backfield, or do you continue to spread the team out and try to find a small crease here or there, try to get this touchdown?
3rd and goal from the 3 for Morgan State. This is a big 3rd down. Harris keeping himself, tries to find the end zone and does. In from 3 yards out. Harris calls his own number. Staley had the 41-yard touchdown run. Harris with maybe the more important 3-yard run to put the Bears back on top.
And that was a great answer by Morgan State. Good job with that wide zone concept. You saw the fullback come and block that play side defensive end right there, and you saw the quarterback just read perfectly. Okay, I can't give it to Herb Walker. Let me try to beat this guy to the corner. He was able to win that foot race and punch it in for 6.
Alex Rea will try the point after. Longest drive of the game, 13 plays, 70 yards. Harris the 3-yard touchdown, and it's back and forth, continues at Morgan State, and the Bears back on top, 31-27. Morgan State cheerleaders have a lot to cheer about. Their first lead of the day. Harris's 3-yard touchdown run, 13 plays, 70-yard drive, took 6:44 off the clock. The home Bears are up 31-27, looking for their 2nd win of the season. The Rattlers want to pick up win number 3 if they could escape here. Return by Smith. And that has really been the problem. They call it the heartbreak season. They're calling this for the Rattlers. They don't have the mastery of closing out opponents. They've been in so many games. They were in games to win them and weren't able to carry them out. This would be an interesting 7:52 to see if FAMU can kind of change that up a little bit and try to leave Baltimore with a victory.
Well, we've seen the talent. It's evident for this football team on both sides of the ball, but can they put it together and close out a game? Because this is what happens when you have a young football team that's still trying to figure out ways to win.
Oregon State, Bears. It's been a back and forth game. We've had a bunch of ties. Morgan would tie the game, and then FAMU would score and take the lead. And Morgan would fight back to tie, but this is their first lead of the afternoon at 31-27 here in the fourth quarter.
Coming with all-out pressure. You see no safeties back deep, so watch Stanley take a shot deep down the field here.
That's nothing new from Oregon State's defense. They like to gamble. Stanley lofts this one down the sidelines, has the completion. Still on his feet, big-time completion. You were right, no safety help back there. The big completion to Chad Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter tried to do his best to stay upright, but good job. I knew once I saw no safeties back deep, you saw Stanley make the check to the receivers. They extended out that formation, and they took a shot. And they found a guy that's been having a really good day in wide receiver Chad Hunter. And so, again, tracking that football down, going deep down the field, taking full advantage of that pressure. Just a good recognition by Stanley and taking a shot and trusting his receiver to go make a play.
55-yard pickup, Stanley to Hunter. Hunter, 6 catches, 140 yards. I'll say he's having a good day. 9-yard pickup on that play. Aurelius with the carry.
It's a good job, just running behind his pads, man.
Ricky, the redshirt freshman from Miami, Florida, picks up 9 yards, 2nd and 1. So FAMU looking to answer Morgan State's score with a score of their own. Stanley fires, end zone. Ran out of real estate, looking for Norwood out of the back of the end zone. Good coverage by Rogers.
I thought you were going to give Ricky a nickname there for a minute. Ricky the Rambling Rattler or something like that.
I like that.
You can have it. I'll give it to you guys.
All right, I might use it.
They tried with the double move right there, but just out of reach. It would have been out of bounds anyway, but I love the aggressiveness right now by FAMU's offense. Taking shots, man, trying to get that lead back.
3rd and 1. Stanley gives to Ricky, who has the first down for the Rattlers to move the chains.
Coach Wood has done a good job just rotating backs in it and keeping everybody fresh. So their offense, I'm not surprised that they're having success because a lot of guys are getting a chance to touch the football.
Aurelius runs for the first down. FAMU looking to answer the Morgan State score, down 31-27. Now 6:10 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
Watch this slot matchup, number 19, no safety held back deep. You may get an in-breaking route over the middle of the field.
Stanley out of the backfield for Cornelius. Touchdown, FAMU. Well designed, well called. Coming out of the backfield, Cornelius for his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
And that's what you want to do versus man defense. When it's cover 0 and you're manned up across, run a screen because they're going to be aggressive as far as getting pressure, and it's one-on-one with the back, and those linemen getting outside. Those cornerbacks are not going to be as aggressive flying up. So just an excellent job by Florida A&M to answer here with the touchdown, and great play calling along the way.
Didn't take them long, 12-yard touchdown. Stanley to Cornelius, 12-yard hookup, and the Rattlers back on top. Back and forth we go. Right now it's FAMU up 34-31, 5:54 to go.
Companies, good to our customers and good for the environment.
FAMU allowed Morgan State to enjoy their first lead of the afternoon for exactly 1 minute and 58 seconds. A 5-play, 78-yard drive. FAMU back on top. Stanley, a 12-yard touchdown pass to Ricky Cornelius. And it's 34-31. Entertaining game this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying it on the Sports Fever Television Network. Seen just about everything. A lot of points. We saw 6 touchdowns in the first half. And back and forth football all afternoon. 2 teams that I think are right on the cusp. We mentioned the talent that you see on FAMU has, and Morgan State has a lot of young players as well. And 2 teams in the MEAC that are trying to take that step up.
If you see a template or someone that you want to model yourself after, look no further than same situation. Young football team last year sort of couldn't find their way, but now they're 5-0 in conference. I believe these two teams are the next, like you said, the next guys up as far as making that leap into the discussion of winning a championship here in the MEAC.
Hampton undefeated in MEAC play, 5-2 overall, having a real nice season. See what Morgan State can do. Eric Harrell goes nowhere, loses a yard on that first down carry.
It's just a great defensive play right there on the end by number 37. I mean, he was getting blocked and was still able to make that stop. That's Rashad Keenan out there on the edge, turning that tackle. Good job right there. That's how you use the offensive player against him, use his leverage against him and make that play.
One thing that FAMU fans are used to is close games. They've been in a lot of them this year. Eric Harrell gets another call and a carry, and this time gains a yard.
There's that man again, number 37, Rashad Keenan. And here's a guy at 6'6", 240, is playing with good length and leverage, because what he's doing is locking on those offensive linemen and turning them into the football, turning them back into the football, and he's slipping those blocks and making plays.
Third down coming up for Morgan State. 3rd and 9 from their 26-yard line. Harris gets some pressure, has to roll out. Eyes still down the field, fires, big catch. And a first down, and what a grab by DJ Trigg. The first down catch out to the 38-yard line. That moves the chains. Trigg played big on that one.
So much to unpack here because you had a missed holding call in the backfield. Okay, check. You have a defender streaming up for the interception, misses a football, and a great reception by Trigg, out muscling him above the rim for the reception. So whole lot going on right there for Morgan State.
Trigg with his second catch of the game. Morgan State with a first down. Harris will keep it himself. And he's tackled for a loss. Great job there by the Rattlers defense to wrap up Harris.
Terry Jefferson, one impressive redshirt sophomore, 5'9", 175. And again, when you're getting great play from your strong safety that just flies up and just makes the tackle like that, it's great. This is where you want to see a situation where they have an RPO call, where they fake the read option, and you see Harris get outside on the perimeter, but there was a way for him to throw the football, but when you just have a straight zone read, you take away that option, and that's what happens there on that play. He gets tackled.
2nd and 13 now. Harris is going to have to run the football and dragged out of bounds. Nowhere to go, no receivers open downfield. Didn't have much of a choice.
It's a big third down we have coming up here in this situation. 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes and counting in this game. They're going to have to convert.
Exactly 3 minutes left. FAMU up 34-31 over Morgan State. FAMU's had a difficult time closing out opponents in the fourth quarter this season. Could they do it on the road in Baltimore today? Harris. Middle of the field. Ball is intercepted by Terry Jefferson. That's his 3rd interception of the season. He gets the pick. Jefferson, the sophomore from Miami, Florida, with his 3rd interception of the year.
It's a great job. 2 big plays by Jefferson on this series. One was the tackle for loss, and here was what could be the game-clinching interception. Just a great job. Bad throw. I don't know where the communication was on that one, but he had an opportunity to get Triggs right there in the middle of the field, but he overthrew it. And Jefferson just fielded a punt right there. Surprised he didn't call a fair catch and bring that in. But good job by Florida A&M's defense coming up with the big stop.
Harris's 3rd interception of the season. It's a costly one. Bowers running the football. So the Rattlers now with a 34-31 lead will start to run as much clock as they possibly can. Florida A&M has 3 timeouts. Morgan State has 2 with 2:20 to go.
It's a great job, and this is when you get into your 4-minute offense and try to close out this ball game. This is where you want to see a young football team grow up and get a victory.
They couldn't do it last week at Hampton. They've had some other close games throughout this season. They were right in the game with NC Central this year. A couple of other the MEAC teams as well just weren't able to close it out. Give to Bowers as the first down and a whole lot more into Bears territory. Down to the 36-yard line. What a run by Bowers.
It's a great job, again, offensively. That offensive line did an excellent job out there on the perimeter. Watch number 70 to get a great block for FAMU. Obinna Nwankwo, the left guard, getting out there and making things happen.
Morgan State takes a timeout with 1:28 remaining. The Rattlers trying to hold on in Baltimore. They have a 34-31 lead.
Presented by Allstate.
Coach Wood and his Rattlers trying to pick up their third win of the season if they could hold on here in Baltimore, up 34-31 over Morgan State. Their sophomore quarterback, Ryan Stanley, 17 of 23, 286 yards and 3 touchdowns today. Ninth carry for Bowers. Gets the handoff. Bowers now 45 yards rushing the football, and Morgan State will take the third and final timeout of the half with 1:21 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Here's a look at Bowers' run.
And he's a taller back at 6 feet 180, but has a ton of acceleration, as you saw Rico Kennedy right there on the tackle. But we saw a different run defense from Morgan State as expected once Jai Franklin went out the game. And FAMU did exactly what FAMU is supposed to do, is attack right where he vacated.
So now Morgan State with no more timeouts. That was their last timeout with 1:21 to go. 2nd and 7, you can do the math. They hold them if FAMU doesn't get a first down. They'll get the football back, but not with a lot of time left.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to try to eke this one out if they don't get a quick stop, or fumble or something like that, or some quick turnover. That's what they're shooting for. But FAMU has done a really good job in running downhill, so we'll see if that continues as they try to close out the last minute 21.
2nd and 7. FAMU with a 34-31 lead. The give to Spills. Spills gets a couple, and here comes a third down. Clock running, 1:05 remaining.
Obviously, there has to be a winner and a loser in this game, but if you're both coaching staffs, you take away a lot of positives from here and a lot of things to build on. And also a lot of coaching points, but you have a lot to build on with these two teams. A lot of talent here in the MEAC this season.
This will be another week where Morgan State has more total yards of offense than the opposing team, but the scoreboard says something else. Morgan State with 448 yards of total offense. Last week in their loss to Howard, they were over 500 yards of total offense. Give straight ahead for the Rattlers. Trying to run out this clock and pick up their third win of the season. Earliest with the run there. The clock ticks down. FAMU will come to Baltimore and get their third win of the season. Back and forth contest with Morgan State. Entertaining game, but FAMU will win this game 34-31. So Morgan State will fall to 1-7. FAMU now 3-6. Morgan State next week at Bethune-Cookman, then at Delaware State. And they finish the season at home. Their next home game, last game of the year, against Norfolk State. Your final from Baltimore, Maryland, FAMU 34, Morgan State 31. We'll be back to put a wrap on this MEAC College Football Game of the Week on the Sports Fever Television Network.
Today's game on STN is brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Dave & Buster's, Fairfield Inn & Suites, Adidas, and Enterprise.
Back to Baltimore, FAMU has had a hard time this season finishing off opponents in the fourth quarter, but not today. Their trip to Baltimore successful with a 34-31 win over Morgan State. The Rattlers now 3-6 of the season, 2-4 in MEAC play. Up next for them, Howard University next week at home in Tallahassee, Florida. They finished the season against Bethune-Cookman. They would just love to end the season 4-4 in MEAC play like they did last year. And for Morgan State, just one win. It came 2 weeks ago here at Hughes Stadium, big win over Savannah State. So now Morgan State on the season is 1-7. Morgan State with 2 road trips to Bethune-Cookman and then Delaware State, and they finish the season at home here in Baltimore against Norfolk State. Ryan Stanley, offensively, quarterback, 17 of 23, 286 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chad Hunter was the star wide receiver, 6 catches, 140 yards and a touchdown for Morgan State. Harris relieves Staley. He was 8 of 19 for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of those touchdowns to Poteet. Poteet, 7 catches for 99 yards. So, Emory Hunt, your thoughts on both Morgan State and FAMU? Where do they go from here?
For Morgan, it's just about trying to finish games and closing out with a bang. And I think they have the pieces to be successful here with this program and the right head coach in Fred Ferrier. And for FAMU, it's about finding ways to win. We just saw them find a way to win, make a great defensive play to close out the ball game, and then go into their 4-minute offense to really take the air out of the ball and really end the game with the ball. That's something we haven't seen them do often this season. Both programs, head coach Alex Wood has done a great job with FAMU. There's a lot of talent here with both teams. Both programs, I think, are on the rise.
I would think so, that's for sure. Both these programs are hoping to step up in the MEAC. It'll be interesting to see how the MEAC plays out. Still a lot to be played for. I think Howard's very much in the mix. They were winning today, and when you look at the MEAC, you have North Carolina A&T, who's 8-0 right now, the favorite, but Hampton and North Carolina Central and Howard and Norfolk State right there nipping at their buds. How do you think the MEAC will play out in the last couple of weeks?
It's hard to go against a team as dominant as North Carolina A&T because I've seen them play multiple times this season. They're very good on both sides of the ball. But you look at Hampton, man, there's something about that football team that you got to keep an eye on. So we'll see. So I think it's going to be A&T, but they're going to make it very interesting going down the wire.
Florida A&M with a 34-31 win over Morgan State. For my partner, the czar of the playbook, Emory Hunt, Danielle Podlaski down on the sidelines, the entire Sports Fever Television Network crew. I'm Phil Shaner. That'll do it from Baltimore, Maryland. The Rattlers heading back to Tallahassee, Florida with a 34-31 win over the Morgan State Bears.